Police TV is talking to Colin Tillett, who's the steward coordinator at the club. Colin, can you tell us a bit about what your role involves and how long you've been doing it for?
Yeah, certainly. I've been doing it since the club's been at Monk's Lane, which is about 10 years, I think. I started off as an ordinary steward when Trev Coles was in charge. He's now moved on to do a much more difficult job. He's the PA chap. I've been in charge of the stewards for about the last 3 years. And the role involves, from the Tuesday before a home game, phoning around and getting the team together. So it's only a small team, 10 or 12. That's part of the problem. So on a Tuesday night, I'm phoning around, and then I'm checking with Skippy to make sure we've got it all sorted out. Then on a match day, I come up here about 11:30 till 12 o'clock. Skippy's already here, quite a few of the other guys are here. Basically, that's to get out signs for the car park and bollards and make sure the gates are done, and then we put together the bags for the stewards, the money bags and ticket bags. And then Roy, my early bird, arrives, and Roy and I go out about 12:30 onto the gate, and for the early arrivals, which is usually hospitality and the players, match officials, and we meet and greet them and take some money if we're paying customers. We do that by the executive stewards coordination centre, which is up there. You can just about see it around the corner there. It's the shed up the top there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a not very nice shed. It's got no floor, got no windows, but apart from that, it's really nice.
Very comfortable.
Lovely facility. The stewards really do appreciate having that, especially in the inclement weather. And then around about 1 o'clock, the main body of stewards arrives. There's 3 guys that take over that vehicle entrance, and then there's a trusty soul that goes up into the pedestrian entrance. It's quite a lonely job up there at the top. And then 1 or 2 guys come in to do the car park, and I've got 2 lovely ladies, if I'm allowed to say that, do each end of the stand. So that's the team. So it's about 10 or 12. So it's sometimes a bit tight if people are at weddings or are ill. Or I've got one steward who is a steward at the racecourse. So when there's a races on, he can't come, and he actually gets paid 50 quid a day for doing that. So it's no contest really, because he does this for free. So it is a bit tight.
Okay.
And then during the course of the game, they stay up there for a little bit of the first half. I go back out about 3:20. I send them in. They bring the money up. It's counted. I stay out there till half time. At half time, I come in. So you can read into that what you like. And then from then on, I'm sort of available. I stay on duty really, with Skippy around on each end of a radio, just in case. Just in case there's anything that happens. Occasionally a player needs an ambulance, and we let them come we help them come into the right place and that sort of stuff. But there's never any trouble as such. But you just got to be around just in case, And so we've never had to eject anyone from the ground or break up fights or anything like that. We did have a streaker once.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. That was the England under-21 versus France under-21. I think it was the World Cup. Pouring with rain. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you're up here.
I think I was.
Yeah, and this guy came out of the north bank, came across the pitch here. My mate tried to tackle him. He was like a bar of soap. Obviously, it was so wet, and it was a bit of a cheat really, because he still had his boxers on, so he wasn't a streaker really.
Not one of our regular fans.
Well, I didn't recognise his face. Put it that way. Anyway, that's about the only incident we've had. We have problems with dogs.
Okay, tell us about those.
Well, Ali is particularly agitated when dogs are brought into the stadium for good reason. Good reason indeed. There's just one little story. There was a lovely lady that came up and parked her car by the shed, and in the car she had this lovely little dog, little lap dog, beautiful dog, and she let the window down. She parked the car, let the window down, locked the car. Dog was in the car. She went to watch the rugby. Dog went berserk, running around inside the car and set the alarm off. So she came back up, opened the door, placated the dog, locked it again. Well, after she'd done this 3 times, and the third time, because the dog was going to, she came up and she took the poor old dog out of the car, and it was absolutely delighted to see her licking her face and wagging its tail. And she said, "What am I going to do?" "I know, I'll put it in the boot, right?" Now the dog had obviously heard this word before, because his ears went back, he started shaking, he started whining, and he knew what the boot was. She was going to put the poor brute in the boot of the car. Luckily, Joe, one of my stewards, said, "Listen, what we'll do is we'll put him in the car. You don't lock it. We'll keep an eye on the car. ended so poor Bruno, what his name was saved from a fate. Imagine locking the poor thing in the car. But we don't have many problems at all.
No. What about challenges? Has there been a particular match that's been a real challenge to get organised for?
Well, I mean, I was talking to Andy Willett just earlier on. I mean, previously when we were higher up the leagues, yeah, there were some, home derbies were, local derbies were quite difficult to cope with because of the number of vehicles. The only problem's ever been parking on those occasions when we have to put cars up on the top field, and if the conditions are bad, then we've got a bit of a problem. But it's not a big deal. We've got men on the ground, men and women on the ground who can cope with that. But that's the only anxiety. Where are we going to put the cars if the field's wet? But organisationally, that's about the only problem we got. We've got stewards inside the building as well, looked after by Skippy. Gordon's at the top here looking after things, and it's quite a well-oiled machine really. Everybody knows each other. Everybody has a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And then my role is then at the end of the game, I just make sure cars leave without bumping into each other. I take in all the signs and shut the gates, make sure everybody's happy, and then I come up here and have a pint with Skippy, and then about 5:30, 6 o'clock, that's the end of my day. So it's quite long, but it's brilliant fun. Yeah. It's good fun. I love doing it. Okay. We're a great bunch of men and women, and they're hard working, but they certainly enjoy themselves. They have a great laugh. Really enjoy it. I mean, and we've met some very famous sort of people in rugby. John Taylor had a long chat to me on the gate, Wales and British and Irish Lions, and it's like being part of the rugby family. It's great.
And are you looking for more help?
There's always there's a core team. Yeah, there's a core team around about 12 people, but there is always a need for reserves, if you like, or people who you can call on if there's a problem. Call in. And I've made appeals before, and we have had new people come in. It's great, I mean, for instance, the latest recruit, if you like, although he's been with us for a couple of years, answered an appeal, and it's the current mayor of Newbury, Ian Gross, who works the pedestrian gate. So, I'm going to try and get him up to where he's chained one day, but he's so busy at the moment. So yes, we do need more people. If there's anybody out there listening who feels they could give their time to the club, you don't have to commit yourself to every home game. It might just be one or two. You don't necessarily have to handle money. If you don't want to, you can go in the car parks. But it's just nice to look at my list on a Tuesday and think, right, if Terry's at the racecourse, I've got somebody else I can call. And sometimes it gets a bit. People have to double up on jobs, and it gets a bit difficult for the faithful. If you understand what I mean, it's a bit unfair when people turn up every other week, and then you say, can you also do? And they always do it, but so yeah, it's an appeal really, just for anybody who fancies watching the game for nothing. That's the bonus, point. You see. You don't have to pay to come in. You don't get your free snack or drink anymore, by the way, but that's part of club policy. But yeah, if anybody wants to do it, just come along on a match day at 1 o'clock. Ask for Colin or Ian Skipworth. Come upstairs, and you'll see me walking around in a very important-looking fluorescent jacket. I'm not very important really, but try to look it. And say, give me your email address or telephone number, and I'll be able to put you on my list. As I say, it doesn't mean you've got to turn up every other week.
Okay, thanks for coming in to talk to us, Colin. And if anyone wants to volunteer, we'll put some contact details on at the end of this programme.